Hey now, say now, you're tuned into the Wake Up and Win podcast, and I am your host, DeVon Pouncey. I am here in the beautiful city of Portland, Oregon, and today we got a very, very special guest. He's my friend, he's my brother, he's the NBA G-League Defensive Player of the Year, which has been recently announced. He was also a two-time Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year, so sort of expected in that regard. And he was also a two-time first-team All-Pac-12 player at Oregon State University. My brother, Gary Payton II, a.k.a. GP2, what's poppin', man?
My brother, how you doing? I appreciate you having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All is well, man. Just glad to have you here on the podcast, man, because we got a lot to talk about. And obviously, you and I go pretty far back because we both played AAU together back in high school. And we'll talk about those days. But my timeline is going to be a little bit all over the place because we've known each other for so long. And obviously, right now, currently, you know, the Oregon State Beavers just made a historic tournament run. They lost last night in a very tough game against University of Houston, which is a good team in the Elite Eight. But nonetheless, what a crazy run from the Beavs, man. That was wild.
hey, you know, once you get it going in March Madness in college basketball, anything can happen. And, you know, when you hit that peak, when you guys are playing well and everybody buys in and, you know, you guys hitting that peak, you know, anything can happen. And they had a hell of a run. And, you know, it was exciting to watch them this whole tournament. And I'm just proud that, you know, Beavers, you know, starting to make that little stand to get back in the tournament every year and, you know, to make some noise.
Absolutely. And I want to ask you because I feel like you were a foundational piece for Beaver basketball to sort of have some pride again because you led the Beavers to the NCAA tournament in 2016. They hadn't been to the NCAA tournament since your dad played in 1990. So that's upwards of 25 years where the Beavs hadn't made it to the national tournament. And then here you come in, you transfer in, you and Wayne Tinkle come in at the same time. And we'll talk about you and Tinkle's relationship here in a second. But you get them back to the NCAA tournament. There's pride when it comes to the men's basketball program, you know, over there at Oregon State. I got to come. You hooked me up with tickets when we were in college to come see you play in a Civil War game. And you could just feel like the energy in the building at Gill Coliseum. Y'all won that Civil War game. And so I feel like you're sort of that foundational piece that has this men's basketball program trending in the right direction. How proud are you to just kind of be able to see and recognize what it is that you did as a Beaver and how the trajectory is going in the right direction as we just saw them make this tournament run and making it to the Elite Eight and almost to the Final Four?
You know, hats off to them guys and Coach Wayne Tinkle and the staff. You know, when me and him, you know, talked about it before I, you know, stayed committed to go to Oregon State. We just talking about changing the culture, you know. Hasn't been back, like you said, in 25 years. You know, just trying to change the culture, buy in, get a group of guys, you know, that'll do that and buy in and help, you know, get to our goal in those 2 years, you know, that I had at Oregon State, you know, was initially the kickstart, you know. Coach Wayne Tinkle, we trusted in and bought into everything they were saying. And the group of guys that we had, you know, really believed in them and trusted them. And, you know, and we broke that barrier. And then now the team now is just, they're just carrying on. And Coach Tinkle, you know, guys see and learn and how to buy into teams and what Coach Tinkle and them are saying. So, you know, I'm glad to see them, you know, make a strong push this year.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because you were recruited by Craig Robinson, which, by the way, is Michelle Obama's brother, for those of you that didn't know. But Craig Robinson was the head coach at Oregon State University before Wayne Tinkle. And things didn't work out. Craig Robinson leaves Oregon State, but Robinson was the one that recruited you. Now, you say you spoke to Coach Tinkle after that and you decided to stay at Oregon State. That doesn't work for a lot of people. When you are comfortable and you get recruited by one coach and then you have to show up to this university and there's an entirely different coach from who you've gotten comfortable with, who you've gotten to know, who's gotten to know your family, so on and so forth. A lot of times that doesn't work out. But to see the belief that this team had in this tournament run and then just kind of rewinding it back to you and sort of the belief that Tinkle had in you, although he didn't recruit you. I think that speaks volumes to him. I think it speaks volumes to you for buying in, and that culture is sticking ultimately out there in Corvallis.
Absolutely. Like you said, I didn't know, anything about Wayne. I don't know if Wayne didn't know anything about me coming up, but, we spoke kind of like a blind date type of thing. We just spoke, told each other our goals and what we wanted to reach and what we wanted to accomplish, for this year, knowing that it was a crazy year, new coaching staff, essentially new team. We had about, I think five or six walk-ons. So, it was definitely a challenge for us, to come out and fight the adversity, that everything was against us. So, just to come out and initially, trust him and, believe in Oregon State. Initially, I don't think it was too much the coaching staff of my option, but, you always got to, talk to your coach and make sure you guys are on the same page and so you guys can get the same things done. But essentially, Oregon State, just for the culture and for the community, that was a big part of my decision to stay too.
Absolutely, absolutely. So congratulations to Oregon State on a crazy tournament run, and we'll get into a little bit more of that later. But now I got to take it all the way back. I got to take it back to 2010. Again, I said my timeline is going to be a little bit over the place because we had to acknowledge that run here at the top of the episode. But now I'm taking it back to me and you playing for the GP Gloves. Your dad's AAU team. Our coach was D. Smitty. But I want to ask you if you remember this because I was playing for Lake Show during that same year. And the culture just didn't really fit me. It really wasn't it for me. And so we had a couple of my high school teammates, Demo and Rodney. They had brought me to a GP Gloves practice. And I didn't practice. Yeah. Yeah. So look, they bring me to a practice and I didn't practice. I was just going with the homies because I didn't have nothing else to do. So D. Smitty hollers at me and essentially we had a tournament that weekend at City College, San Francisco. He said, man, just show up. I got a uniform for you. So I'm like, all right, bet. So show up. It's about an 8 a.m. game. We at City College in San Francisco. I show up, get my uniform. You're living in Vegas at the time, so you fly in to come play at City College. And we go out there, and we win by like 15. And so after the game, we going to round up. Coach going to holler at us after the game. We go down the hallway, and we do a team roundup, and your dad was at the game. And boy, did he cuss us smooth.
Hey, I used to get that all the time. I was just looking like, y'all gonna feel this today.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna ask you more about that because basically his expectations was that we should have went out there and won by 40.
Right.
And we were playing against a team that we were much better than, so I feel him on that extent. But like I said, it was 8 a.m. We were kind of playing down to the competition.
Right.
We were just kind of cruising and coasting, getting past this first game of the tournament, essentially.
Right.
And when we went down there and he lit us up, I'll be honest with you, for me, it was kind of refreshing because I had just come from a program that was just different in that regard. And me being from the Bay and, me knowing kind of what it is back home, I actually could more so relate to how your dad was lighting us up more so than I could for the former team that I was playing for. So I had played decent in that first game, and I knew after that cussing out, this was the place that we needed to be and that I needed to be essentially. But for you, brother.
It's a little different. I get it pretty much all the time, You feel me? I was almost used to it at that age, but it was just, but the discipline now, like how he disciplined and how he is, from right now is just, I appreciate everything, he puts in and his passion for, everything he does and, everything he wants, his community and everything, to be great. Absolutely.
But you had to obviously deal with it at home. Your dad is an NBA Hall of Famer and he's known as the most shit-talkingest hooper to ever play in the league. And now he has a son with the same name who's growing up and essentially chasing the same dream that your dad did, who had loads of success, clearly. How tough was that for you earlier on in your younger years, probably getting a lot of comparisons to your dad, obviously your dad is able to really kind of, be very disciplinary in regards to how he treats you when it comes to the sport of basketball in particular.
I had more talks with my dad, really learned how to be coachable from my dad, and I think if I'm coachable, I can learn how to be coachable from my dad. And he's probably the realest, you know who he is. If you feel me? He's
off top.
He'll let you know from the jump, won't sugarcoat anything. So I think that right there helped a lot me growing up in my younger years. So now, I'm coachable, I understand, know how to talk to, I'll talk to teammates, talk to coach, so I honestly do appreciate him on that stage. And he doesn't do it just for me. Like I said,
he lit me up. He lit us all up.
Hey, everybody, it doesn't matter.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe. So that's just who he is.
Yeah.
But definitely growing up, it was tough, but I managed to figure it out. And now it's cool. I can go to him and talk to him about just about anything.
I got to ask you one more question about our AAU team, because we had a solid team. We balled out, went to Vegas, balled out. And then I want to ask you about this moment because I actually wasn't there. You remember we played in the Vegas tournament, played really well, and that's how kind of the circuit was back then. It's a Las Vegas tournament, then you fly straight from Vegas to play in the LA tournament.
Yeah.
So we go to the LA tournament and we balling out. We make it to the championship game.
We had just beat Team Odom.
Just beat Team Odom. And look, you know where I'm going. So
we're not even at halftime yet. In the championship game, we're not at halftime yet. The refs are not calling, fouls. They're letting us play. It's a little physical.
Yeah.
A little too physical for D. Smitty. So D. Smitty let him know. He's like, okay, this not really how calm he was, but he let him know. He was like, yo, I'm going to need you to start, doing your job, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
They still let it be physical. When I say this man called a timeout, he called a timeout. He said, let's go. We're looking like, what do you mean? Like, go back on the court?
Yeah.
No. Get all your stuff, and we're leaving. I said, no. I said, yo. I'm like, wait, hold on. I'm confused. I said, are we done? Wait, I'm confused. Hey.
Wow.
Championship game. We didn't even finish.
The cold part, I played in the Team Odom game. So I had to leave, though, because the very next day I had to go to a funeral. So I missed the championship games. But, of course, I played the whole tournament, balled out. We beat Team Odom. We was hooping. Beat Team Odom. I had to make a hard decision and go. It was my great-grandmother's funeral, so I had to leave, of course. But, of course, I'm at the funeral over. I'm calling like, man, what happened? We win? Did we win the championship? What happened? Man, they say D. Smitty snatched the whole team off the floor in the second quarter in a tight game.
No, we were up. We were winning by like 10, or you were up by like 10, bro. I'm like, yo, we cool. We got it. We just gonna play physical. All right. Nope.
Yeah.
Wow.
D. Smitty.
Wow. D. Smitty. Shout out Smitty, though.
Hey, shout out Smitty. Hey, one of the realest, straight out of North Carolina. And one thing I will say about Smitty, we competed with the best of the best. We was beating
absolutely.
Odoms. We was beating everybody, essentially. And
that was the first year of that team, I think.
That was the first year of that team. And we all came together. We didn't really know each other. Like I said, I just had left my other AAU team and was kind of a free agent at the time, essentially. And he just told me, man, pull up. I got a uniform for you. Right. And like I said, from there, it was off to the races. And again, your dad lighting us up. It was kind of like refreshing for me just because I had just left a situation where the coach would get in your ass, but it just wasn't really relatable in regards to how he would do it and his approach in that. So not that he did it in a bad way, it just didn't fit my style and who I was as a player. But now I want to bring it a little bit more current, or actually, no, before that, sticking with your dad. What was it like to make the decision to go to Oregon State and follow in his footsteps? What was that moment sort of like for you two?
To be honest, I wasn't even going to go to Oregon State just because because of that reason, because of my dad. You know, I just wanted to make my own path and do my own thing and start my own little legacy. Right. I was going to go to St. Mary's.
Moraga in the Bay.
Yeah, I was going to St. Mary's and mess with Randy Bennett.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like it was a cool place. I liked the school area. Was cool. It was like 2 minutes away from my grandmother. So,
right.
You know, that was all love.
Yeah.
So,
that's home.
And then I took my visit to Oregon State. And literally the visit just literally changed my mind. And just to visit. I fell in love with the town. You know, Portland, of course, is right down the street. Fell in love with the town and the school. You know, just the environment, the people around it. It was a real college environment. You know, and I fell in love with that. And essentially, I woke up one morning and I just told my dad, I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to Oregon State. And he said, bet. And right. And then at the time I called Coach Robinson, you know, told him, and then a couple of days later, you know, that and Wayne Tinkle happened. So I got on the phone with Wayne Tinkle. We talked it out, hashed it out, whatever. End up staying, you know, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. I want to bring it to now, though. You just recently won the Defensive Player of the Year in the G-League for Raptors 905, but you've had a bit of a journey now. It's been a few years. What's you been in the league, back and forth between the league and the G League? About 5-6 years now?
About five. Yeah.
About 5 years you've been back and forth between the league and the G League. And I just kind of want to know what your mentality is and how you approach the journey that you're on, because obviously it's a tough journey. It is very competitive. It's very high level. But also I could imagine that you could go overseas if you wanted to, and you can play professionally elsewhere if you wanted to, but you're still sticking it out back and forth between the league and the G League. Kind of why is that? And why are you kind of choosing that route and that journey rather than maybe going overseas and, you know, playing professional ball over there?
Honestly, you know, the league now is very different. You know, it gets different, I think, every year. It's getting, and I honestly believe that I can honestly play with these guys in this league and play in this league. So just having the mindset of just, you know, staying the course, sticking it out, working every day, working on everything you need to work on, and just try to create another opportunity. For the last 5 years, that's all I've been trying to do and work for, is just creating opportunities for myself. You know, they come and they go. You know, things don't work out as you plan, and it takes a little hard on your mental. You know, it's discouraging and stuff like that, but you just gotta keep telling yourself to stay the course. You know, work on what you need to work on, and go out there and just try to create opportunities. People know what you do, and just still try to impress people and prove people wrong.
Absolutely. You know, when you won the award, I even seen guys like Dame, who obviously, you know, there's a hometown connection there, who, you know, reposted you saying that you're an NBA guy and that you're a league guy. And obviously you've gotten a taste of the league. As I've said, you've been going back and forth, and usually every time that you're in the G League, you always have success. Like, you're always either leading the team in scoring, or you're a defensive player of the year, or, you know, you're averaging double digits a game. And so with that, when you go up and you actually play against these guys in the league, what is that like for you in regards to just being out there and playing at the biggest stage? Because too often we talk about just the star element and you know, sort of the fame and the glitz and the glamour of it. But it's like, just being able to get to the league in itself is like harder than hitting the lotto. What's it like for you every time you go out there and you step on that court and you get the opportunity to kind of cherish those moments and obviously compete at the highest level you can?
No, absolutely. Don't take any of those moments for granted. Every time, you know, you're able to lace them up, you know, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, and all this can be going tomorrow. So, like I said, cherish everything. Don't take it for granted. And every time I get on there, every time, you know, I get a call up or anything, I'm probably usually guarding. My matchup usually the best guy on the other team. So
yeah, because you're
a
locksmith.
You know, so it doesn't matter, you know, what situation is or whatever. If I come up, I'm probably going to be guarding, you know, the Dames, Steph, off rip. You know, so I kind of take that, you know, I appreciate that. That's respect on the league part. They understand that, but that's what I do, and if I come up or whatever. So it's really exciting, to have a superstar matchup, all-star matchup, that you got to go out there and, try to make a difference, try to get him below his average, try to take away some, that he does very well. So that just alone is just exciting. And I've had some matchups where it's just been like, it's crazy, but it was a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, that's dope because you are, like I said, you're a 2-time Pac-12 DPOY, you're G-League DPOY, and your name is Gary Payton II. So
that might help a little bit.
That adds to it a little bit. Like your name is Gary Payton II, so you're carrying on a legacy of your father, who obviously was the glove and was known as, arguably the greatest defender of all time. So
I'm trying to back it up. I'm backing it up.
You're backing it up. You holding it on strong. You're really doing your thing. And it's like, how does that feel to be able to even say that? Because your dad was an NBA Hall of Famer.
Right.
It's like,
right.
You really could just say, like, I'm backing it up, and you got the accolades to show for it.
Yeah, like I said, I think, it's pretty expected,
Yeah.
just cause off the name and, in school and everything. I think guys is, they know what it is and they expect it, and now they expect it from me. So, just continue to do what I do. I don't even think, to be honest, I don't even really think about the defensive parts that much. It just comes natural. It's like you locked in, you take pride on this side of the court. And you know how to play this side of the court very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Who's been your favorite teammate in the league?
Favorite teammate in the league?
Yeah, I know you coach with a lot of guys, man. And I obviously know you, so I know the relationship.
Favorite teammate that either or NBA or G-League?
Sure. I want both, though. Give me both, bro. Give me both, bro.
I'm gonna go David Stockton.
Okay.
When I was with the South Bay, Los Angeles South Bay,
right.
David's David, more than none off the court. David's just a great guy, hilarious, easy to talk to. Family's great. His father's the great John Stockton. So,
absolutely.
John and his family still come down and watch David play. It's great. He's just a phenomenal dude, and on the court, he's a wizard. He sees things that the camera guys don't see. So it's a perk. It's a luxury to have David Stockton on your team, on and off the court. So that's great. And favorite teammate probably that I've experienced in the league. Ooh, that's got to be Isaac Bonga.
Okay.
From the Wizard, my guy Bonga. He's a good dude. When I got to Washington, he took care of me. He just made it more comfortable and more easy for me with the team. And we hang out a lot, and on and off the court, we work out with each other in the summer. And it's just he's just one of those dudes that's just a good dude. Just good genuine hearted dude. That's my guy.
Absolutely. I got to ask you about this though, G, because obviously, in the beginning of 2020, a little bit over a year ago, we had the unfortunate passing of Kobe and Gigi, and the 7 others that were on that helicopter. But you were there, and I remember you being on the court, during the post-game speech and all that with your father and Shaq and all of those guys at Kobe's last game of his career. We all know it was a crazy night. He ended up going for 50, and, he went out. I mean, you couldn't have had a better ending to a career that was, as in-depth and as illustrative and as dope and as great as Kobe Bryant's career was. For you, just kind of give me a recap of that night and being able to be there in that moment and essentially what it means to you now, being that we do have to deal with the unfortunate fact that Kobe is no longer here with us.
Right. We're just, that's just it's a tough topic to talk about. But, that night was just incredible from the beginning of the day, riding around, running errands before the game. My dad had found an extra ticket So I called my homie immediately. I said, yo, I got an extra ticket to Kobe's last game. He was in Vegas, so we was in LA. He said, bet, hung up, pushed all the way there, made it just in time for the game time.
Wow.
And it was just, you know, it was just a good vibe from there, you know. Everybody was at the game. Before the game started, I was like, I had told my homeboy, I was like, what's the odds that Kobe go for 50?
Really?
Now he was like, you know, it's there, but he was like, I don't know. But it's Kobe though.
It's Kobe though, right?
So Kobe had a slow start. You know, he was like, oh for what, 6 or 7 for his first couple. And then once he got that first layer, that first bucket, when I say it was done, I'm talking about it was a young Mamba. It was a young Mamba. It was 8. It was 8. It was 8.
It was 8.
So it was 8. I promise you.
Yeah.
But no, that's just that moment right there. I rewinded in my mind over and over and over throughout the days. I miss him so much, and Gigi. And as though, you know, it's like Uncle Kobe.
Right.
Growing up in 2004, my dad was on the team when they made that run. You know, just the bond and coming to practice and stuff like that, hanging out with him, shooting around, just talking, just messing around. You know, he'll always be Kobe, always be Uncle.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate, but I do cherish that moment for sure, that last game, and, you know, to watch him and talk to him and just interact with him.
I already know. I'm still here in Portland, man. I got a lot of Blazer fans that listen to the podcast. Talk about your relationship with Dame. Obviously, there's a hometown connection there. You know, you growing up in Oakland, your dad being from Oakland, Dame being from Oakland. Just kind of talk about, you know, you and Dame's relationship and, you know, ways he may have been there and supported you throughout your hoop career coming up after him. Oh,
yeah, for sure. Even before, I remember when my dad used to go watch Dame at Weber State when I was in JUCO. He got my dad to come to Utah and drive down to Ogden to go watch him play. So, and once he was like that, I was like, he don't go watch nobody play.
Wow.
Nobody play.
Yeah.
But like you said, you know, Dame's from the town, you know, Dame's family. So, of course, you know, he had to go support. And ever since then, when I had when I was almost going to the league, you know, we got the same agency and everything with the Goodwins. So, you know, we got in the gym pretty much for about 2 summers straight. Yeah. I was with him and just working out at Merritt up in Oakland. And that's where we, you know, built the bond. And, you know, he became a brother for sure. He helped me out, you know, just talk to him. And that's one thing about Dame. Dame's real as it gets. And, you know, Dame's super chill, super cool. You know, you can talk to him about anything. You know, he gonna be real with you and, you know, say what you got to say. Right. And, you know, I just appreciate everything he's done for me. You know, just helped out and guided me through, you know, my 5 careers. You know, I was there in Portland with him for a little stint. And, you know, he just did nothing but push me better, you know, guarding him every day and guarding CJ and stuff like that. So he just pushed me and, you know, and would just have my back. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I got to ask you this because I started a new segment recently and it's called the 6-Man segment, right? And basically what it is, you know, you always get on these podcasts and you have these interviews and people ask you for your top 5. You know, what's your top 5 favorite rappers? What's your top 5 favorite greatest or whatever of all time, whatever subject it is. But with the 6-Man segment, I'm still going to ask you for your top 5 and then maybe, you know, add a 6th person who could have been like an honorable mention on that list but didn't quite make it into the 5. And here's what it is. Draymond Green recently came out and said he's the greatest defender of all time. So you know where I'm going. We already talked about your lineage. We already talked about your accolades and accomplishments, you being a locksmith, having all these defensive accolades, guarding the best player every night. Right. Give me your top 5 defensive players of all time, and then go ahead of all time, and then give me a 6th man. And then give me a 6th man who's like, he's right there at the top, and you know he could be interchangeable with just about anybody on that list. All right. I ain't gonna put Wilton in there because that was just different.
Okay, fair. I'm with.
But I'm gonna go ahead and start off with TA Tony Allen.
Okay.
Because he's first team. You know, he's first team from.
Yeah,
exactly.
Lockdown.
First team. That's kind of how I model my game as after, it's just Tony Allen. TA's a good dude. But, okay, TA.
That's one.
Yeah, okay, you got to put young Payton in there. Put young Payton in there.
Payton, okay. Okay, Pops in there.
I'm gonna try to stick with the guards too.
Okay.
Bruce Bowen.
I like it.
What? Bruce. People don't know
that
Bruce really used to sit.
He used to sit. He was a major key. He was Kawhi for the Spurs before Kawhi.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? When Kawhi ended up winning that championship and they beat Miami, like that was Bruce Bowen, and then that became Kawhi. That morphed into Kawhi.
Exactly. People don't understand.
Yeah.
People don't understand. All right, let me see. Who's that?
Three.
That's TA.
You got
GP.
TA, your Pops, and Bruce Bowen.
A lot of people don't know Tracy McGrady was a great defender, actually, with this length and everything. Kobe said that Tracy was one of his toughest defenders that ever guarded him. Okay. So I'm going to give T-Mac.
T-Mac, I like it.
Yeah.
And then you got one more. Really two more, technically. You got a fifth one, and then we'll do a sixth man.
I'm trying to think of these guards.
So right now we got.
I'm trying to go back with these guys. Some of these guards now, I don't want to stay in this era. I kind of want to go back.
Go for it.
I'm trying to think.
Bruce Bowen, GP, TA, and T-Mac.
In the fifth. I'm trying to go back to one of them. Oh my God. Trevor Ariza. Hey, oh my God, Trevor was Hey, Trevor was clamping.
He was locked down.
Yeah. And my all time is for the dudes that, you're just gonna be here just to play defense. You're a team player. You're gonna do stuff for the team. That's cool. I know the superstars got defense. Mike Arden. Feel me?
Right.
But I'm trying to players that that came like me, that got it like me, man. We just came locked up. Do what you gotta do. Help the team. That's you feel me?
And then give me one more for a six man that you just could throw in there. And I like your criteria and how you picture five as well, because of course you can easily go with the superstars.
For sure, I'm trying to really help teams. Most of those dudes help teams. Help their team win championships too, which is the crazy part.
Absolutely,
the crazy part.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then let me see this six man defensive. No, I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna go with Trez on me.
Montrezl Harrell? Really?
Trez is a dog.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how you do it, Trez gets it done.
And that's not a guard, but he's a six man, so it's a good call. I like it.
Hey, Trez is my guy. Hey, I'll have Trez on my team any time of the week. I promise.
Yeah, he's a dog. Real monster out there.
It. He gets it done. Don't matter. Whatever. If it look pretty, if it don't, he gets it done.
Absolutely. And I got just a couple more questions for you. The first one being, what's going on with GP2 right now in this moment? The G-League season just ended, correct?
Yeah.
So what's going on with you? What you doing? You're training? You trying to make that jump to the league? Where we at right now?
Yeah. Just get back in the gym, normal routine. Just continue to work every day. Wait for opportunities. So it's a weird short season this year.
Yeah,
so,
pandemic year.
Pandemic year, of course, with Corona and everything. So, you never know. Teams might need somebody, never know. But, just stay ready. And if get the call, just go ahead and take care of the opportunity and see what we got and try to make it and try to stretch it.
Absolutely. You mentioned the year that it's been, and I just got to ask you, just what are kind of your general thoughts on, the way that NBA and WNBA players, basketball players, the basketball community has stepped up and really utilized and leveraged its voice during a year where we've had, social justice uprisings. Obviously, it's a weird pandemic year, so we're dealing with a pandemic that is something none of us ever could have expected in our lifetime. But just being a part of that NBA community, for you, what's it been like, seeing the league step up in the ways that it's had, especially when it comes to social justice in particular?
Oh, yeah. The league, I think the sports community, I think everybody, has done an amazing job, with everything's going on, especially with the pandemic going on too, and just handling everything. Especially, I think I shout out to the women's community, WNBA, because, they're doing historical things, during these historical times. So, shout out to them and making a huge voice. And, we got they back for sure. You already know what it is with us. We got they back. So, just pushing them and keep having them grow and use their voice just as much as we use ours. But like I said, it's been a crazy year, but I think we've handled it, the best that we can, use our voice and continue to use our voice, after all this is over, and just continue to grow and, continue to make, everything better in the country, get back right.
Absolutely. And here's my last question, because I've been watching Last Chance U, the East LA, the basketball one, and I'm like 3 episodes in right now. And, it's acknowledging the junior college grind, especially, in California. I know you went to Salt Lake, I believe. Yeah, you went to Salt Lake Community College, so you know what that junior college grind is like. But speaking to the youth more so, what do you say to the young high schooler that was like you and I, played around a lot of great talent? We already mentioned some of the success that we had playing together, but you had a lot of guys around you that got scholarships and got opportunities that everybody would dream of. And these are your peers essentially, because you're competing with them. And a lot of times you're even beating them, but you're not necessarily getting that same opportunity. And now you have to decide, do I want to stick through this thing and go the JUCO route and see how things take it from there? Or am I going to let the lack of opportunities discourage me and essentially make me give up on the game? You being somebody that's been through that journey of, not coming straight out of high school and going D1, having to play JUCO ball, which obviously never sounds sexy in comparison to going D1 or D2 or just playing at the 4-year level. What would you say to that youngster right now that's not fielding any recruits per se, but has some game on him, but his peers are getting opportunities that he's just not?
Just don't quit. Don't quit. Stay the course. Like you said, that JUCO route, that prep school JUCO, that it don't sound sexy. It don't sound fun. You think you got to go through this. You ain't gonna never get to the league or have opportunities, but it's a process. Believe in yourself, trust in yourself. Just go out there and work every day. Don't complain. Don't whine about it. Don't do none of that. Just go out there and work. Lay everything on the line, and I promise you that it would definitely come back around. Your opportunity will show, and keep working hard, keep working harder. You're going to get opportunities more and more, and you're going to get to be able to get that scholarship to that four-year university. And most of the time, everybody that you've seen in high school, coming up, whatever, they going to quit.
Yeah.
They going to quit just because they thought the path that they took, was going to be given to them, and it's not, So, they get discouraged and they quit. And I just wasn't one of those guys who didn't quit and just kept fighting. To this day, I'm still at it. So,
still a professional baller. That's real though, in the part of not quitting, because at some point everybody's going to hit a bump in the road. And I think about, kind of the AAU circuit and how it's changing, and and really we had politics during our AAU days as well. You know what I'm saying? But the politics continue to be a force within the youth basketball community. And some people, whether it's because they 6'10", whether it's because they got a killer J, but maybe they're missing a bunch of other elements to their game. Some people get opportunities. Sometimes it could be too soon. And when they hit that fork in the road, because they've kind of been spoon-fed and spoiled within, you know what I mean, this kind of corrupt youth sports industry. Now when it's time for them to kind of hit a bump in the road and they're at the point where they actually got to earn it, that's the part I think a lot of people struggle with, is getting to that point where your name isn't going to do it for you, getting to that point where the politics aren't going to do it for you, who it is that you're signed to, the sneaker company, nobody's going to be able to do it for you. You got to go out there and earn that shit. And I think that is something that you've done in a real way, is went out there and earned it at every level. And even with your name being what it is, as we've already talked about, nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can take that away from you, because you done went prep school, JUCO, went to Oregon State, made it to the league, undrafted, still playing 5 years later. Like, that's going out there and having to earn it. So, mad respect to you for that. I'm always proud of you for what you've been able to accomplish, brother. Repping the GP gloves always.
You already know.
Yeah, man.
Shout out everybody on that team, man. GP, Pat, man. Shout out everybody on that team.
Justo, Barry.
Demo,
Brian. Devereaux. Devereaux had a killer J.
T. Mills.
Yeah, I'd have knocked my whole platform back getting Juice talking about the squad.
T. Mills is probably the funniest person that I know.
For real. Off tops. Berkeley High.
Shout out T. Mills.
Yeah, man. Off tops, man. Off top. Well, love you, bro, man. Congratulations on
that. Brother. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you for joining.
All right, everybody.
We are going to leave y'all the only way that we know how, and that is to stay woke and go win.